involving law enforcement being forced to engage in shootouts, trying to apprehend fugitives. Last fall, HPD officer William Jeffrey lost his life doing such that. Harris County Precinct 5 Corporal Charles Galloway was shot and killed after he pulled over a fugitive who had been on the run for over 25 years. And the bigger question is, how many others remain out there? I have noticed a trend that many defendants that we have documented at Crime Stoppers who've been released on multiple felony bonds had then subsequently forfeited their bonds and became fugitives before being apprehended. Many of those are still wanted, and this is happening more and more. Headlines like "Man charged with murder was out on 5 multiple felony bonds, now wanted for bond forfeiture" is almost a daily ritual in Harris County. The defendant charged with murdering Cracker Barrel manager Robin Baucom was a wanted fugitive. That's just one of many examples that we can highlight. Defendants like Heriberto Montes was released on 4 family violence bonds. He actually still remains a fugitive, and his victims live in perpetual fear. So we owe the U.S. Marshals, their law enforcement partners, a debt of gratitude for their willingness and ability to bring fugitives to justice and to give peace of mind to so many victims and their families. And with that in mind, I'm going to ask United States Marshal OConnor to come up.
Thank you, sir. Howdy. Boy, that's pretty quiet.
That was pretty quiet.
Chief, help me here. Howdy.
Howdy.
All right. I'm T. Michael O'Connor. I'm the U.S. Marshal of the Southern District of Texas. And you're here to see the evil chasers. Right here, this consortium, which we have worked together on a continuous basis. Yes, we do have an operation that we receive funding of 1 of 10 cities in the United States. And what that was and is monies to be a force multiplier. I brought marshals from all over the country, including our task forces here in the region, to where we continue to fight evil and to fight crime. So if I may say a quote that I periodically utilize, and it's from a former Texas Ranger in his day, McDonald, Captain McDonald in the 1900s. "No man in the wrong can stand up against a fellow that's in the right and keep on coming." You're looking at the law enforcement families that keep on coming. We're here to make a difference in your communities. Evil needs to be removed. We have pursued the worst of the worst. And these individuals have to be located and removed and then pass on to the prosecution, and we'll refer to them. We catch them and we bring them to justice. With this operation, it was about a 30-day operation. There were multiple agencies I would like to recognize that were here. The Gulf Coast Violent Offenders and Fugitive Task Force, and that consists of the U.S. Marshal and the various agencies, from sheriff's offices to police department to the constable offices as well. Immigration and Custom Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, Department of Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, Texas Department of Public Safety, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Harris County Sheriff's Office, Houston Police Department, Fort Bend Precinct 4 Constable Office, Richmond Police Department, Austin County Sheriff's Office, Southern District of the U.S. Marshal Service, and other regions throughout the country, Harris County District Attorney's Office, Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office, Montgomery County District Attorney's Office, Montgomery Sheriff's Office, Harris County Constable Precinct 1, and Harris Constable Precinct 5, and if I haven't mentioned, the United States District, U.S. Attorney District. Just for some statistics, as you see behind me of the 10 cities, this is a collection of the 30-day initiative. We have to apply pressure. If someone thinks that we will be able, in our lifetime, eradicate criminality, organized crime, and violence, they need to think twice. With the limitation that law enforcement has, we have to come together, and in the 40 years to which I have been involved, this is the greatest, best consortium of law enforcement that is applying the pressure to suppress evil. And you have to have that on a constant basis. You just can't do it periodic. So because we're here today to talk to you about this initiative doesn't mean that this is a start-stop initiative. We will continue to do such, and we will bring in more reinforcements as we see fit. The Marshal Service is exactly the word service. We're here to serve and to protect, but we're more so here to assist local law enforcement. And as you know, this is expanse that from Harris County and beyond. So some of the statistics within just 30 days had 152 violent fugitive arrests, 15 arrests for homicide, 17 arrests for sexual offenders and assault, 61 arrests for assault, 24 arrests for dangerous drugs, 18 arrests for robbery. We had numerous firearms that were seized, drugs included, and currency. So you may say, well, relatively to what the criminality out there, what's going on, this doesn't seem to have made much of an impact. Talk to the families in those communities to where we went in and we extracted evil from the communities. That's the most important aspect, to give them some sense of hope and promise that we will return. But I like to use the word that we are predictably unpredictable. We want the criminality, the worst of the worst, to wake up and determine and be distracted as to when we're coming. But I'll assure you, evil, we're coming. And we will continue to apply that pressure collectively. As you see behind the board, there's quite a bit of statistics that I won't repeat. You received a press release with further details with regards to our initiative. 10 cities. I would have had to say, look, Houston has these problems and we are not doing anything about it. I personally went up to our headquarters and made sure, and mainly in the conversation with Chief Fenner, as to the numbers of violent, outstanding criminal warrants. That's unspeakable. Not because of the police department and these other agencies. It's because of the overall culture today that is before us. We're no different. We continue to pursue evil. You know, justice is coming, but justice is here. And we will continue to do that. And I thank the people in the communities for the support. I thank the media for putting this out. I mean, we're the silent warriors, but we need not be that. People need to know that we're out there pursuing the worst of the worst. And you may not think that we made much of an impact, but as it says, we keep on coming. Thank you, and then we'll let the chief say a few remarks as well.
Thank you, T. Michael. So it's hard to follow that up. And Andy, I want to say thank you for highlighting some of the officers who were shot and killed by violent offenders who have been arrested, released, and then we have to deal with them again. That's one thing that we're going to have to stop here in Houston, Harris County. It's dangerous for our citizens and it's dangerous for our law enforcement officers, but it's stressful to the family members. And that's the number one thing that I worry about. So look, I'm really proud to stand here, and T. Michael mentioned everybody, but when you have our U.S. attorney, our district attorney, all these great men and women in uniform, it's a great thing. And just to carry on what he was saying, we're gonna keep charging. We're gonna keep going after violent offenders. We're not gonna step down. Everybody that you see here, all of our agencies, our local agencies, our federal agencies, it's a great partnership. This didn't start yesterday. Back in 2018, out in Southwest Houston, Triple Beam, with some of these same agencies and our U.S. attorneys, and U.S. Marshals, gathered and tracked down many violent offenders, and we'll continue to do that. So I just want to thank everybody here. I really want to just say something for HPD. Commander Borzer, I want to thank you for our operations here within the Houston Police Department, what you do in major offenders, and everybody else. We're going to keep charging ahead, but I'm really proud to stand here today and just looking forward. This is not just a one-time program. This is going to be a way of life. So I want the criminals to know that. Thank you.
Constable Alan Rosen, and my office was deeply involved in this operation. We had a lot of assets attached to it. And I can tell you that the people they're going after are the harshest of criminals. These are people that have been charged with capital murder, and other things. And I just want to say to every one of these officers that were on this operation and continue to fight this fight, how proud I am of the work you do every day. The Marshal's Office is one of the most professional organizations that we've worked with, in addition to all of our other partners, but they have just been wonderful. I also want to point out that Chief Fenner touched on it briefly, that each time we have to go back out and rearrest some of the same offenders, the stakes get higher. The arrests get higher. It's more dangerous. Some of these people, this is their last arrest and they know it. So we have to engage with them, and the risks are higher. And I want to tell you right now, there's none of us that want to have any of our officers or the community hurt ever. I also want to say that there's a cost associated with rearresting offenders. There's a big cost associated with rearresting the same offenders over and over again. And if they commit new crimes, there's a cost associated with that. So when we're looking at the whole criminal justice system and the costs associated with criminal justice, we have to factor in all of those details. And so this is just another operation that we're going to continue to work and protect the community from our most violent offenders. And that's why this group is so important here today, is they arrest the most violent offenders that are out there. Thank you very much, Marshal.
Good morning. I'm Kim Ogg, Harris County's District Attorney. I want to start by thanking the Biden administration for selecting Houston as one of the 10 spots to receive this grant. I think the focus on violent crime by our federal partners is crucial, and I want to thank every member of law enforcement here for the life-risking activities that they do as part of their daily job 24/7, 365 days every year. I also want to thank my prosecutors and the prosecutors at the U.S. Attorney's Office Southern District for picking up the ball. Once somebody's arrested, we prosecute. And it really is a two-part system. One part doesn't work without the other. And so it's gratifying as a law enforcement leader to have the support and the collaborative work that we're able to do with all of these agencies. It doesn't happen that way all the time or everywhere. A perfect case example of the results of this program just to date are the following. There's a defendant, Maceo White, on parole for evading arrest in January 2021. Had a murder warrant out for the murder of his previous girlfriend, Shaker Brantley, with whom he shared 2 young daughters. On June 14th, White was apprehended by the Marshal's service, assisted by Constable's Office Precinct 1 via Operation NorthStar. At that time, law enforcement discovered 2 guns, leading to felon in possession of a weapon charge in addition to his murder charge. The murder and felon in possession charge are assigned to our Domestic Violence Division under a prosecutor named Kimberly Garcia, and Masio White remains in the Harris County Jail. Next court date in the 2/30th will be in September. Masio White is an example of the type of offenders that these officers risk their lives to apprehend. Wanted for murder while on parole and in possession of weapons when arrested. You got all your risk factors there in terms of law enforcement's potential losses there. These defendants are well armed, they are desperate, they are on the run, and this is our most serious category of offender in Harris County. Violent, fugitive felons on the run. I want to concur with U.S. Marshal. Crime is a cancer in our community. It is an evil. Criminals are like every other person with a job. They rob, they often steal, and sometimes they murder in the course of their crimes. They often have disrupted personal lives, which subjects the people around them to increased chances of domestic violence, including children and even pets in the home. These are individuals who present risk to our community in their homes, out in our public environment, and even with the people that they hang around with, who are often the criminal element and sometimes the victims as well as the perpetrators of these crimes. So it's important to confirm what all the law enforcement leaders have said, that the offenders that this group is going after are the worst of the worst. They present the greatest threat to law enforcement, the community, and their own families. And they are exactly who we need to be after. The district attorney's office has a fugitive apprehension section. Most people don't know that. We assist law enforcement with extraditions. We assist them with warrants and getting people who have fled the jurisdiction back to the jurisdiction to face justice. And I want to thank the members of my team who work in the fugitive apprehension section, who provide a lot of support, often without recognition, to these brave officers. Thank you so much.
I'd like to say something afterward.
Yeah. You know, on behalf of Crime Stoppers, we will continue to feature wanted fugitives. We have started an initiative called To Catch a Killer. Every Tuesday, we put out there on every platform that we can imagine someone is wanted for murder. And like everyone else said, there's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands. And I think everybody's in agreement that it's time to end the enabling and emboldenment of criminal behavior in Harris County. And it's time that we send a message out. If we catch you, you're not going to get back out again. And that message has to resonate with everybody, or we're going to continue spinning our wheels in an endless cycle of violence in more and more people that are going to end up being victimized by a system that right now is more structured for defendants and not victims' rights. And it's time we start putting victims' rights back on the forefront. Marshal.
I'd be remiss without mentioning the men and women that are out there, the silent warriors to which they work every day, risk their lives every day, and as the chief says, it's escalating. So their threat matrix is even getting more serious. So God bless those that are out there every day. You know, we stand up here and we, speak of what we're doing, but it's those men and women that are making those impacts to us in every community. So please, those of you in the communities that you see, law enforcement, please give them a sense of gratitude of what they do. Thank you.
Yes, for questions.
This time, we'll open it up for any questions.
You might want Spanish speaking.
Hmm?
You might want to give Spanish media.
Oh, okay. Ruben?
Buenos días. Me llamo Rubén Pérez, soy fiscal, soy el jefe del Special Crimes Bureau, trabajo por la fiscal D.A. Kemag, que es la fiscal del condado de Harris. Les quiero dar gracias a todo el público, a todas las agencias que están aquí, las agencias de nivel de estatal, local y federal. Este es un ejemplo de todas estas agencias trabajando juntos, como dijo el Marshal del sur de Texas. Trabajamos todos juntos para arrestar a los delincuentes más graves que están aquí en el condado de Harris y en el sur de Texas. Vamos a trabajar juntos, todos, como dije, los estatales, locales, federales.